Everybody to the OMEN Encounter, where game number 2 of the evening is about to get underway. Now, if you're just joining us, spoiler alert, you missed the first game. Voyboy's team wound up taking a convincing victory over Cutie Pie Squadron, and now they're staying on the Rift to take on Nightblue's newly drafted squad for the first time this week. Sifa, these were probably the top 2 teams from last week. Voyboy's team went 3-0. Nightblue's team was able to get their stuff together after losing to Voyboy and go 2-1, so Nightblue might be looking for some revenge here.
Yeah, definitely. I think Nightblue's team last week looked to be second strongest, of course, according to the results, 2-1. But now this week, Nightblue has a much stronger roster than he did last week. Xpecake, an AD carry who played one game last week as a sub-in for Cutie Pie, but played out of his mind. Just a fantastic player. And of course, I am Matlife, former Voyboy teammate, now playing on that team. Excellent, excellent hook champion. The Thresh banned away from him, but still very proficient on a lot of different characters. Excellent, excellent support player.
Well, Thresh has been the first ban right away from actually Nightblue's team. So interesting enough for that one. Taking that one away technically from Matlife, where I guess he might be more comfortable with the Blitzcrank pickup anyway. But Azir also banned out from the blue team. And Fizz, no surprise to see that one banned away from Voyboy's team. Obviously a target towards fishing for Earth, as well, there it goes. Blitzcrank taken away from I am Matlife.
Yeah, no surprises here. I am surprised that the Thresh was first banned from blue team, but I suppose when Biofrost is able to play it just as proficiently, you got to be careful. Fizz and Blitzcrank both target bans. Lee Sin being taken away from Think Card. A lot of general bans, I'd say, coming out from the blue team. But mostly target bans from Voyboy squad. It'll be interesting to see what they ban last. Maybe a top laner, or we might see a character like Nara get through in this pick. We know that most top laners are proficient on him, and I'm curious to see exactly what Fishing for Earth is going to first pick here. I'd say, personally, I think the best bet is going to be the Nara. Very strong top lane pick. Can pretty much go into any lane safely, but he may try to pick something that he's more comfortable on, or perhaps secure a jungle champ for Nightblue.
Well, the last ban from Voyboy's team was Jinx, targeting at Xpecake there. So 3 target bans, and like you said, it does leave a lot of the quote-unquote OP champions open. I really do actually have to point out as well, Voyboy's team did make a roster swap from last game. Ethel no longer going to be participating. It is now Zen the solo king. So Voyboy's team now has 3 solo laners, a support, and a jungler. No dedicated AD carry, so banning out that Jinx against Xpecake, let alone having Xpecake on the other team, could be a big swing for Nightblue's favor, as they do take Janna, who's been a monster in the bottom lane as of late.
Yeah, Janna, of course, I think the strongest universal pick for bot lane, not really having any weak matchups. A lot of people say Soraka's a bad matchup, but even then, Janna still brings so much utility, so many opportunities for disengages and engages with that slow and that tornado. So it'll be interesting to see how they utilize this pick, but I think overall, it's just a solid, solid choice to pick up the Janna. Doesn't really reveal anything about their team comp or their lanes. On the opposite side, we do see that Corki being hovered over. Currently one of the strongest AD carries in the game, probably the strongest, despite the missile speed nerf to his phosphorus bomb in this patch. And then, of course, the Gnar that we talked about earlier, getting locked in as well. So kind of just power picks coming in from both sides, all picking champions that are really excellent in the meta right now. No really unique picks, just strong picks in general.
Yeah, we saw the Corki. It didn't work out for Cutie Pie in the mid lane last game. However, Corki in the bottom lane, a very, very strong pickup. Jinx off the table for Xpecake. Corki was the champion. We saw him sub in for Cutie Pie's team with an absolutely devastate with. So that being taken away from him, we'll have to see what he wants up picking up against it. Corki generally pretty decent against Ezreal, Lucian, some of the other popular laners. Caitlyn is still a potential pickup there for Xpecake, but we'll have to see here. The pick and ban phase is just about halfway through right now. Aurelia being locked in, and the Lucian is being hovered over for Nightblue's team. So Aurelia and our top lane, pretty standard stuff. Lucian, Corki bot lane with a Janna thrown into the mix. All, like you said, just very, very powerful champions right now.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about how strong Corki is despite the recent nerfs. Lucian, on the other hand, has received some pretty major nerfs. Nerfs on his passive as well as pretty much on his passive all around. So this might be a rough lane coming in for Xpecake here. Lucian, not quite the champion he used to be. Repeatedly, we see his stats getting reduced, and it'll be interesting to see how well he does with this on this patch. We did see Lucian kind of suffer last game, but obviously this is a new team and a new player. Xpecake, I think we expect a lot from him, but seeing if he can utilize this Lucian pick efficiently, it'll really make or break this game for them. Obviously, they have the Janna Lucian lane, which is a little bit stronger, but Aurelia also coming out, and that's going to be a rough lane early for or for whoever ends up going top lane. I'm guessing Moonway at this point. And Zen the Solo King has shown in the past that he's a very proficient Gnar player, and just obviously a very universally strong pick there. Late game offering 3 seconds of hard CC on multiple people. We do see Kha'Zix and Nami locked in. Kha'Zix still a very strong jungler. Nami also obviously working out very well for Biofrost in the last game. How do you feel about those picks?
Well, I'm really excited because not only did Kha'Zix get locked in, but immediately Xpeke for Nightblue's team locked in the lore matchup with Rengar. So we're gonna have Kha'Zix versus Rengar in the jungle. It looks like from this game, it's gonna be really awesome. But Kha'Zix did see a little bit of nerfs thrown his way, especially after Worlds. So 420 and 421 were not the best to Kha'Zix, but he's still a very, very strong champion in the jungle. Just you have to kind of change up how and where you are with Kha'Zix a little bit. Same kind of thing for a lot of the more powerful junglers recently. Lee Sin suffering the same kind of treatment right now. Kha'Zix, I still think a very, very powerful pickup, provides a lot of damage from the side of Voyboy's team, which they could potentially need here. Corki obviously going to provide mixed damage, a lot of mid-game power. Gnar has a lot of upfront burst damage when he gets the transformation down in team fights, but provides a lot of tankiness. Having a damage-focused jungler is never going to be a bad thing in that circumstance. But on the opposite side, Syndra being locked in probably for fishing for Earth in the mid lane. We saw him picking that up when Fizz was banned away last week, and that Rengar pickup here. There's also a lot of blow-up damage coming out from the side of Nightblue's team.
Yeah, and one thing to consider about the Rengar pick is that he's kind of in the same basket as Kha'Zix in the sense that his jungle clear has been nerfed. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how Nightblue uses this pick. I mean, I know in a lot of competitive games, we do see Rengar use sort of to counter jungle early game until he gets that level 6 before we see him going full aggressive, trying to pressure those lanes with his ultimate. So if Nightblue can utilize this pick early, it's going to cause a lot of pressure in the lanes, and then that mid game is just going to be excellent for them. Fishing of Earth on Syndra. Wasn't a huge fan of his Syndra play in the last game that he played it, but he may have improved over the course of this last week. He might have tightened up all those loose plays, and we'll see exactly how that works out. Golden Glue, of course, going with a very defensive mid laner, Orianna. Not going to have that same burst that Syndra does, but offering a lot more utility to her team. And when combined with the CC from Gnar and the jump in from Kha'Zix, you have a lot of potential for these 5-man Orianna ultimates, which will be really solid at disrupting or killing the Lucian and keeping the Orianna off the Corki.
Yeah, not only that, but like you said, it's going to be two ways to have jump-ins here. Both Gnar, the transformation and the ball on his head, as well as the Kha'Zix jumping in. A lot of lockup coming out when you throw in the Nami wave, the bubbles, everything from the side of Voyboy's team. But we do still have that disengage coming out from Nightblue's team. The Janna could potentially screw that up. The Wombo combo could be fizzled by a tornado or a really well-placed monsoon by I Am Not Life. Those are going to be things that you have to really, really look out for. There's a lot of pick potential coming out from the side of Nightblue's team between the Rengar and the Syndra. Being able to just lock somebody up, jump on them, and blow them up could be absolutely devastating. We just got to see how much Fishing for Earth and Nightblue are on the same page with that one, because it is going to take a little bit of coordination. Now, just a heads up here, like we did say before, Voyboy's team has subbed out Ethel for Zen the Solo King. So Zen the Solo King's taking Gnar into top lane. Golden Glue is taking Voyboy into the mid lane. It's going to be Voyboy playing Corki as AD carry in that bottom lane. Lots of burst potential coming out from both Corki and Lucian. We saw a very similar matchup to this last game, although instead of having the disengage from Janna, there was the engage on Leona for that Lucian lane. But still, that potential heal coming out from Nami could turn some of these trades around. I'm going to put a lot of focus down there, especially because I want to see how Voyboy plays ADC.
Yeah, I think Golden Glue would much prefer to take Orianna into the mid lane over Voyboy. But Voyboy will go down into that bot lane, and I'm really expecting kind of a lot from Xpeke in this matchup. Xpeke obviously a lot more proficient on AD carries than Voyboy at this point. It's his main role, and Voyboy kind of thrown off here. I'm wondering if this is something that they planned, or if perhaps, Ethel had to leave. Any of these things could be potential options, and can Biofrost really carry this lane phase as Nami? And is Void going to be the proficient AD carry they need him to be, or is Xpeke going to dominate on this nerfed Lucian?
Well, all those questions and more will be answered after a quick commercial break, guys. It's game number 2 of the OMEN Encounter for tonight. Nightblue's team was number 2 last week, trying to take down Voyboy's team, who's number 1 so far this week with 1 game under our belts, and was last week as well. Guys, we'll be right back after a quick commercial break. We'll see you on the Rift. It is Summoner's Rift, where game number 2 of the OMEN Encounter for tonight is about to take place. Nightblue's team helms the blue side. Voyboy's team on the red side. My name is Optimus Tom, and I'm joined here by Sifa for game number 2. get things underway. Let's see how things evolve right now as Voyboy's team looks like they might be going aggressive at level 1.
Yeah, speaking of evolve, I'm really curious to see what Kha'Zix is going to take early here, especially, when he hits level 6. What is he going to evolve first in this matchup? We see a lot of people evolving claws now that spikes have been nerfed here, and depending on what he evolves, it could change the way that Voyboy's team tries to team fight. They do have sort of a more poke-oriented comp at this point with the Gnar and the Corki. But really what it's going to come down to, I think, is can Voyboy, with his new lineup, slightly modified without Ethel, make the same level of quality roams from his solo lanes so that they can get the bot lane ahead like they did last game? Obviously, they don't have quite that dependence on magic damage like they did last game, but they also don't have people on their dedicated roles, which could be a huge weakness here, given that everyone on Nightblue's team is in a role that they are comfortable with.
Yeah, and on top of that, when Golden Glue has picked up Orianna here, rather safe pick, but more importantly, she's mobile, but not nearly the same as LeBlanc, being able to jump over walls and roam around the map like it was last game. The teleport is available for top lane on both sides. We'll have to see if that's going to be as much of a focus as it was in game number 1 of this evening. Both sides look to be trying to secure their own buffs, whereas Xpekik and Matlife, they're going to sniff out that this Gromp is going to be going down between Voyboy and Biofrost. Oh, they're waiting in the brush, trying to potentially steal it away or maybe pick up a kill. Voyboy and Biofrost getting close to the brush, but they're not quite there. Heal was picked up by Biofrost as well. Matlife now going to pop out here. Voyboy dropping low. Heal's already burned. The Gromp adding onto the damage. Voyboy has to flash away. Xpekik and Matlife. Ooh, the phosphorus bomb from Voyboy steals the Gromp. Voyboy's going to hit level 2 off of that one, and he's going to get away, but 2 summoners are down.
So despite the fact that they did lose 2 summoners there, getting that Gromp back is going to be huge. He's not going to lose too much experience, even if Lucian and Janna decide to push the waves in. But if he can get a little advantage, Xpekik that is, we could see something big coming out here. Curse Thinkard going aggressively into Nightblue's jungle.
Ooh, Thinkard right away, using that isolation damage from Kha'Zix Q, being able to pick up an early aggressive kill on the Nightblue, and he just was not expecting that level of aggression at all.
Oh, and this game is going to give me a heart attack. I mean, we saw Xpekik and I am Matlife waiting so patiently to try to get that Gromp, and I thought for sure that would be first blood, but instead just Voyboy blowing all of his summoners, stealing a Gromp back, and then Kha'Zix playing hyper-aggressive into that jungle, knowing that in this patch, Rengar has a hard time clearing the jungle early. Just overall, really strong play, and God, just so exciting.
Well, our bottom lane, once again, more action going down over here. Is Biofrost going to take a lot of trade damage. Matlife and Xpekik, though, getting pretty low. Voyboy's going to take a piercing light to the face for himself for that one. Already, Xpekik has gotten a 13 compared to 5 CS advantage because Voyboy did have to go back, but the potions and the ability to stay in lane with sustain is going in favor of Voyboy and Biofrost. Top lane did see a little bit of damage going back and forth between Gnar and Aurelia. The first transformation of the game around level 3 over there, going to be dealing a little bit of damage. The wave being pushed up there. Solo King going to take a little bit of trade damage from Moonway here. The sun did go out, forces the hop away, and then the Solo King dropping extremely low here. Moonway's Aurelia has a flask and health potions, though. Zen the Solo King burned his only health potion up there, though.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to note is that this is kind of the play we've come to expect from Moonway. Obviously, a very proficient solo laner, has played both mid and top lane in this tournament, and I'm really just kind of waiting to see exactly how he plays this matchup in the future. Nightblue, though, going aggressive in that bot lane.
Yeah, he shows up bottom lane here, trying to get some damage down. A good bubble there from Biofrost, so Pekik has to burn his own heal. Dropping down really low. Nightblue's going to take a tower shot, but he won't fall either. Voyboy drops down low. Everybody's dropping down really low in the bottom lane, except for Janna, but they're not going to wind up picking a kill for that one.
Yeah, and good call from Nightblue to gank that bot lane, knowing that Voyboy had no summoners, but Biofrost there still had exhaust and was able to use that to lock them down and kind of stop a lot of that damage from going on to Voyboy. Voyboy, of course, able to just kind of Valkyrie out of that. Good play from Voyboy and Biofrost, I have to say, denying that gank there, and maybe a bit too aggressive from Nightblue to try to force that in the early game, especially when he's already behind in the jungle.
Well, he has gotten his own jungle item completed right here. The Ranger's Trailblazer picked up for Nightblue. Only about 1 CS behind compared to Thinkard, though, so CS differences don't really tell the story, though, as we did have First Blood going over to Kha'Zix. A lot of gold has been left in the pocket of Thinkard there from that one. Nightblue trying to make something happen in the bottom lane. Like you said, no summoners down there for Voyboy. Was a prime target for that gang, but they just weren't able to really get the lockup down on him. The mobility coming out from Corki, Valkyrie away from that one, and a great bubble from Biofrost to disengage. Just really, really huge. We see ThinkCard in the meantime up in the top lane is going to get scattered out by a ward over there, so thwarting some attempts at that. Ping's going down by Dragon, though. Nightblue and Fishing for Earth, they are going to wind up picking up the Scuttle Crab, though. They're not actually going straight for the Dragon, just trying to get some control of the river on the bottom side.
Yeah, and one thing I want to note about this top lane matchup is that despite the fact that Gnar has that early range advantage, Moonway is playing this lane excellently, not really giving Gnar the trade opportunities he wants. You can see that he's playing mostly to just get that burst in and then back off, and is actually ahead in health in this lane before he went B. So really impressive play coming out there. Golden Glue in the mid lane, though.
Forced to flash away right there. Nightblue was able to get the lockdown in there from the bolas, as well as the stun coming out there from Fishing for Earth. So Summoner Spell burned in the mid lane. Wouldn't be surprised to see a repeat gig sometime in about the next 5 minutes from Nightblue right there. Voyboy in the meantime has been pushed back to his own tower. We do have Biofrost roaming a little bit, trying to put some vision out over by the Dragon Pit area. Nightblue's team does seem to know there's a ward over there. Pinkor goes down from I Am Matlife, and they'll retain control of the Dragon Pit area for now.
Oh, and Kha'Zix's getting caught out there. Just an excellent roam from the team as a whole. Janna coming in strong with some CC, and then really using that early game power from Syndra. And this, obviously the CC and the jumps from Rengar there to secure that kill. Now they can pretty much take this dragon uncontested. We talked earlier about how that 6% AD and AP may not be huge in the early game, but if they can get it for free, it's just going to be pure advantage to them.
Ooh, a bubble and a shockwave comes out here. Fishing for Earth's going to drop low as well. Lucian already paid the price, and the dragon goes down. Golden Glue steals that one away. Voyboy in the back trying to get some damage down on the Nightblue. Nightblue is going to wind up falling here. Biofrost picks up the kill. Moonway and Zen, the solo king, came down at the same time too. And Nard picks up a kill on Aurelia. Voyboy picks up a kill on Janna. Deja vu, Sifa. This happened last game. Voyboy's team, they get the dragon this time, and an ace for their side.
And this is exactly what Voyboy's team wanted here. Nightblue's team overextending a little bit there. Night Vicious missing the smite. Gonna have a hard time for the rest of the game at this point. And, you know, in the last game, at least Cutie Pie's team got the dragon, but now Voyboy's team, pure advantage here. Got the dragon buff, got the kills that they wanted, and Voyboy, despite the fact that he's not an AD carry main, pretty far ahead on the Corki at this point, 2-0-3.
I mean, have you seen him play Vayne? The boy is proficient in every single role.
I suppose you are right there, Tom. Golden Glue, though, coming in huge here. Excellent, excellent shockwave from him. Obviously a Dragon Steel, which was really, really impressive. ThinkCard thinking about invading. And this is the kind of aggressive play we've known from ThinkCard. He knows better than to go into the Syndra, though.
Well, Syndra is going to be able to get the blue buff. Looks like they're from Nightblue, going to take that one for himself. You saw some trades going down in top lane. Is on the Solo King and Moonway continuing to battle it out, but now Fishing for Earth ran into ThinkCard in his own jungle. Flash away. The red buff is on, though, and Golden Glue picks up a kill right there. Zen the Solo King with the transformation did pick up a kill on Moonway in the top lane at the exact same time. Free blue buff for Golden Glue. Free solo kill top lane for the Solo King. And now we see bottom lane Xpecake being pressed out here by Biofrost and Voyboy as Matlife shows up. Only level 5, though. Voyboy is level 6. He already has those rockets coming out. Bubble does go between the two uprights right there. That's 3 extra points for Biofrost in the bottom lane, but they're forcing Voyboy back with some damage.
Yeah, and just excellent, excellent map movement coming out from both the jungle and mid lane. Golden Glue and ThinkCard, strong players communicating very efficiently to shut down that Syndra. And now ThinkCard upgrading those claws first is going to be able to kill anyone he catches out in that jungle. And you see that they've got solid ward control on the top side of the map. You see that pink ward in the river and, of course, that green ward deep in that jungle. So Kha'Zix can pretty much own that area because any one person that comes in is going to be decimated by that isolation damage.
Well, we did already see the strong damage potential coming out from Kha'Zix in the early game. Picked up first blood, picked up a kill onto Syndra as well. Golden Glue now trying to chase down on the Nightblue. Did actually kind of get baited out there. It looks like we did see Syndra getting a stun down, but Nightblue very, very low in the jungle. Does have to run away from that one. Only level 5 right now. Rengar, you usually see him ganking very heavily when he hits level 6, able to abuse that ultimate and the invisibility, but the delay on this is just going to be absolutely devastating to Nightblue.
Yeah, and Rengar already struggling to clear the jungle, and then on top of that you have a Kha'Zix coming into counter jungle and an Orianna contesting every camp you take. This Rengar pick it's going to be hard to get this off the ground at this point when he's so far behind. You see the kind of the trinket cooldown burn there just to make sure that no one's in the bot lane coming to dive him, and now Nightblue's on the way, probably hoping to pick up that camp and get level 6 before he ganks this bot lane, and Voyboy and Biofrost just looking incredibly dominant here.
Well, Voyboy, Biofrost, 3 summoners. The heal's the only one down. It looks like everything but the flash from Iron Matlife is up for the side of Nightblue Squadron. Looks like Rengar is going to come around the side. No ultimate available, though, means they can't really get a jump on Voyboy. See, xpeke goes aggressive. Voyboy and Biofrost kind of signaled that somebody's going to be coming in from the side here. They do ping down that Nightblue's in the area. The ward actually looks like it was cleared out over there as well as the sweeper picked up there from Nightblue. So they are not going to get anything going down in the bottom lane. Now it looks like Nightblue's going to turn his attention to mid lane. Goes over towards the Raptors. Did not smite that one, so he's not going to be able to have an oracles or mini oracles occur any extra wards around the area. He decides to go back into his own jungle for now.
Yeah, and they do ping him out, and they have that ward coverage, so they know that Rengar is level 6, and they know that he's headed in the bot lane. See, Thinkard in the mid lane, though. Just coming in aggressive there.
Nightblue thought about going mid lane, decided against it, and Thinkard was one step ahead of him and decided to dive that tower. Command Shockwave was used, but a kill secure right there. Golden Glue and Thinkard picking up another one for Voyboy's team. That's the 9th kill of the game right here at just 11 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yeah, and you can see how Voyboy's teams are using that advantage to buy vision control and place it in the enemy jungle, so they're pretty confident to know where the enemy are, although they may have miscalculated with Nightblue here.
Oh, Nightblue did it, level 6, jumps in immediately onto Voyboy, though. Looks like a turret goes down the mid lane during this fight, but Nightblue dropped down extremely low, but he will be able to pop Voyboy. Does get the... Oh, the stacks came up, but the heal did not come out in enough time. Biofrost picks up a kill on Nightblue, but what's going to be the cost of that one? Matlife tanks the tower, but xpeke does not want to chase through. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and some much-needed gank assistance coming in from Nightblue. Moonway now going to get dove into the top lane. Thinkard's going to go down to the tower, though. Another trade, so technically it's just a 2-for-2 across the map. Kind of works out for Nightblue's team.
Yeah, pretty solid and excellent play from Moonway to turn that into a 1-for-1 in the top lane. That could have been pretty horrible for him, given the point that he's already super far behind the Gnar, but did manage to get something back there, and we do know that late game Aurelia is going to be able to do, much more damage than a Gnar, who is mostly constricted to a tank build if he wants to survive in that Mega Gnar form.
Well, right now we do see that Nightblue's team trying to recuperate where they can. They lost the mid lane tower. They have a lot of pressure down on that side, but they are warding up their own sides of the jungle just to make sure that Voyboy's team isn't going to be trying anything sneaky peeky like. However, the entire blue side of their jungle is completely warded up. Nightblue's going to find himself a pink ward. There's another one over by the Baron pit area, and Voyboy's team... It might be different than last week, but the vision control game is just something that they've absolutely dominated both weeks so far.
Yeah, and the thing to consider here is that Thinkard and Solo King and Golden Glue are so on top of their plays, and Thinkard clearly communicating very well where he wants to gank and making it happen, whereas Nightblue, who has been suffering this entire game, is forced into very limited options when it comes to ganking a lane, which has slowed down his Rengar play significantly and is going to make it really hard for them to utilize this pick at all in a team fight. Even Voyboy, coming in huge here, playing very well, and the team as a whole appears to be much more of a cohesive unit as opposed to the rest of the teams that we've seen so far, which are kind of struggling and mostly playing for themselves.
One of the things Voyboy's team prioritized, or at least Thinkard prioritized, was getting inside Nightblue's head. The early gank for First Blood at level 2, continuing to chase down and be in his jungle, making sure they put down a lot of forward wards. Nightblue's the captain of his team, and without that clear communication from the captain, you could have things fall apart like they are bottom lane right now. Golden Glue and Thinkard coming around the backside. Thinkard does go down to xpeke, but they pick up 2 kills here, 1 for Golden Glue, 1 for Voyboy, and it looks like the dragon is live on the map, but there is no smite available for Voyboy's team.
Yeah, and having vision of Nightblue's back there, as well as having vision of Syndra in the mid lane, means that they can pretty much make that play bot lane for free. They had no worries about where the enemy team might be. Were able to commit 3 members down to the bot lane, use their gold advantage on top of their their people advantage of people present in the bot lane, and just make huge plays here.
Well, looks like they are going to continue just to clear out waves in this bottom lane, not really pressing forward to take that tower down, but when you've picked up a combination of 5 kills and only 1 death in that bottom lane, you're going to want to try to abuse that as much as possible. There is another wave coming in for Voyboy and Biofrost, but they're taking the signal to go back and buy. Voyboy's got a decent amount of gold in his pocket, 1.3k for Corki, only about a couple hundred there for Nami, but they are going to be able to finish off things like Boots of Mobility and a Trinity Force now picked up for Corki, so they've really hit that item spike now in Voyboy.
Yeah, and that 6k gold lead is especially huge because it's also tempered with that 6% AD and AP buff from the Dragon, so getting maximum value out of the stats that they already have, and then of course, already having so many stats over the enemy team, the advantage just continues to grow here. Vision control still strong. We see Think Card and Zen the Solo King consistently roaming into the jungle to place wards along with Biofrost. So overall, much better vision control coming out from Voyboy's team, and you can see that they are now going to attempt to clear the dragon pit out and maybe contest this dragon pretty much unafraid because they know exactly where the enemy team is at all times.
Thinkard is able to sweep away a ward in Dragon Pit. MatLife continuing to try to put some forward wards down, but a pink ward in the brush and the Scuttle Crab control heavily in favor of Voyboy's team, not letting the enemy team put some wards down over there. And as I say that, MatLife puts a ward in the back of Dragon Pit. They are going to see that Voyboy's team has started this one up. At least Thinkard has. He's doing it all by himself. Voyboy and Biofrost trying to zone out the rest of the team, but Nightblue stealthed up. He's going to try to come in on Voyboy. Does get the leap down. Nightblue's going to come in here. The dragon does go over to the side of Cursed Thinkard, however. Now Nightblue taking a lot of damage. Monsoon for the disengage, but there's the command shockwave. Brings in John and Rengar. They picked up 2 more kills to the side of Voyboy's team. Without the captain, though, are they going to chase on? A good bubble lands on Fishing for Earth. A double kill comes in as the Clockwork Wind Up from Golden Glue's auto attack. Picks up a kill, but Moonway is teleported into this fight. He's going to get some damage down. Picked up a kill on Nami, trying to turn this around on the Golden Glue. They're going to disengage from that one. It is a 3 for 2, but a second dragon to Voyboy's team.
Yeah, and sloppy play from Voyboy to get caught out there, despite having superior vision control, just really did not respect the Syndra from Fishing for Earth. The stun coming in strong there, Flash using the alt jump proc from Nightblue, gave them that kill, and that made that team fight so much easier, just given how much of the team's power is on Voyboy himself. But still a solid team fight and just a bigger advantage coming in from Voyboy's side. And once again, we saw the Nightblue not able to get that smite. This time, though, you can definitely argue that Thinkard is a higher level and hence his smite does more damage. So really not a whole lot of options for Nightblue to contest that. And of course, Thinkard just so much further ahead.
Nightblue did set his sights on Voyboy, though, so while he wasn't able to get the smite, he did get his target in that fight. At the same exact time, they lost out in the fight. It was a 3 for 2 trade in favor of Voyboy's team. Voyboy's team got the dragon, but Nightblue's team was able to even up the towers after that one. So this gold lead not pressing all too much further, because while the dragon does give you that gold of statistics, it doesn't quite give you the gold in your pocket. And Nightblue's team will be happy to get as much gold as possible right now, because that's going to be translating into a couple of items for their own side here. Trinity Force has been picked up for Aurelia, but MatLife actually trying to ward in his own jungle, going to get caught out by Golden Glue. Shockwave and Ignite able to pick up, actually not even Ignite, just auto attacks coming through, being able to pick up a kill. Fishing for Earth, trying to be a hero and save the day, not going to wind up working out. He gets caught up by the other members of Voyboy's team there. It's another kill for Zen, the Solo King, now 4-0-2 on this Gnar.
Yeah, and I think it was a huge mistake giving up that Gnar there. I mean, they had their pick of powerful top laners, Lissandra, Rumble, and Gnar, all available, but didn't opt to take any of them, instead taking Aurelia, who is within her own right a strong laner, but definitely not one of the powerful picks at this point in the patch.
Well, the second tier mid tower goes down for Voyboy's team. Voyboy did push down the first tier bottom tower while those fights were going on in the enemy jungle opposite side of the map. So all of a sudden, Nightblue's team, they got one dragon. I said that wasn't the worst for them, but now it's 4-1. Moonboy actually going and getting a flash stun down on the Golden Glue. Nightblue in the mix of absolutely everything. Monsoon comes out there from Janna, trying to jump down into Voyboy, but Nightblue's going to get blown up at the exact same time. Zen the Solo King chasing down on Xpeke. That's another kill picked up right there. A 3-0 for Voyboy's team. 21 kills compared to 7, and 11 now going on 12k gold lead, and it's going to be 4 towers to 1. Not even 20 minutes into this game, Sifa.
Yeah, and lackluster decision-making coming out from Nightblue to ult and then go in there. You know, Syndra wasn't even there. Fishing for Earth wasn't even available. We do see her get picked up there. Yeah, just gone, just instantly deleted. And we'll see, you know, obviously he wasn't available in that fight, so they ran into a 4v5 with a gold disadvantage. And despite perhaps superior positioning in the initial fight, with a Corki and a Kha'Zix and a Gnar easily able to jump around, repositioning was pretty simple, and we did see Gnar solo that Lucian. So really just putting Nightblue's team in a tough place here, and if they want to win, they need to be much better about how they decide to engage fights.
They also need much more gold right now. 40.1k compared to 27k. It is a 13,000 gold lead now for Voyboy's team. They also need some experience. Nightblue only level 9 compared to Cursed Thinkard level 11. Solo lanes for Voyboy's team hitting level 13, only level 11 on the opposite side for Nightblue's squadron. The outer towers are down to just the second tier bottom lane tower for their side as well, so they don't even really have those to rest their laurels on. They really need to they need to clear out this vision. They do see a lot of sweepers coming out from their side, 3 of them to be precise, as well as a scrying orb having been picked up there from Xpeke just to scout out areas of vision. But Voyboy's side, they still have wards down in Nightblue's jungle on both sides. They still have forward vision control. They've been dominant in their objective control this game. A minute and a half until Dragon's going to spawn. Baron is live on the map. You got to think about both of them for your Nightblue's team, but it's going to be really difficult to engage a fight against an ahead Orianna, against the Nami, against all the damage that they have on Voyboy's side.
Yeah, and Voyboy, of course, has excellent poke. Thinkcard as well, going to be able to poke with the spines, and then Gnar with the boomerang. And when you're so far ahead, every little bit of damage is going to matter in these team fights, and not really any sustain options coming out from the side of Nightblue's team. Janna ult, the only option. Not really a great option for disengage, especially if Orianna's already placed the ball. You know, you're against a team with so many jumps and a team that can offer so much CC that Janna alone is not enough to disengage in these scenarios, and we do see Nightblue ulting here, though.
Oh, he is going to wind up jumping down onto Nami. He's going to get a little bit of damage. The culling comes out from Xpeke. Fishing for Earth's going to be able to use the ultimate right there. Pick up a kill on Biofrost. Moonway teleports down. Zen, the Solo King, is already here, trying to hop, skip, and jump away. Jumps on Thinkcard's head. The stun comes out. Does wind up landing on 2. Flash forwards coming out from the side of Nightblue's team. They're bloodthirsty and hungry for some kills here, Sifa. Xpeke going maybe a little bit too far. Has to pop his own heals. Then the Solo King now chasing down on Lucian and Rengar at a 2v1. Does wind up using the Gnar to shove Aurelia and Nightblue backwards. Voyboy picks up a kill as he chases around the opposite side on Nightblue. Lucian went down to Thinkcard. A double kill now picked up for Voyboy as Aurelia goes down. A command shot when it comes out, not going to land on I Am Matlight, but that was just way too far of a chase coming out from Nightblue's side.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get away because at that point, if you don't opt to chase, then Zen and Thinkcard can chase you back. They have a ton of slow options.
Oh!
Obviously, the Gnar boomerang on just such a low cooldown, and Voyboy doesn't even care. Goes over, picks that team up. Meanwhile, his team takes the dragon. Huge lead coming out from the team. 15k gold lead. This is
Ugly?
This is ugly. This is quite a lead from Voyboy's team. This is kind of the play we've come to expect from them, but I think Nightblue's team just wasn't quite ready for this one. Rengar pick not doing what they needed to do, and Aurelia similarly also not providing the damage or tankiness that their team needs to survive these fights. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Gnar coming in huge. That Kha'Zix damage, despite his 4-3 and 10 score, you know, maybe not the best KDA, he does have so much execution potential, and the resets there have come in huge in every single fight, using those wings to jump between champions and finish them off.
Nightblue's team just fell behind so early on. We had the jungle pressure coming down, the Kha'Zix solo kill at level 2, the unfortunate invade not working out the way they wanted to in the bottom side of the map, the lanes not being in the right positions. Because of all those early disadvantages, they are hungry for gold and desperate for kills. There's a Pekik trying to run away, flash and an ultimate from Golden Glue. He can afford to use that right now because of how far ahead they are and how much damage he has. Legendary Golden Glue, 9, 1, and 11 on Orianna right now. That's devastating.
Yeah, and despite the early advantage from Voyboy's team, the real turning point was that dragon, and good on Voyboy's team for being decisive enough to punish those rash decisions from Nightblue's side. And that's really the thing that we've seen from them that's been more impressive than anything else. Vision control, team fighting, mechanical skill, anything else, despite the fact that Voyboy's now trading 1-for-1 with the Syndra. Pretty impressive. You know, they are really decisive, and they know when they want to go in, and they communicate those things as a team, and it's very clear that Thinkcard and the rest of the team are making excellent decisions.
No, we did see, like you said, a solo kill for Voyboy, but he did on into the tower, so Fishing for Earth able to pick up a trade right there. A little more beneficial for him as Voyboy had a killing spree bonus on his head of 500 gold, and Fishing for Earth not quite near that kill total at all. So definitely a little more in favor of Syndra. Has picked up his own Void Staff now, but he's got Void Staff and Athene's and Holy Grail. Also the Sorcerer Shoes, not a lot of AP, but he's going to try to burst down those raw number values that Syndra has on his ultimate ability with all that spell penetration. Just trying to get as much cost efficiency out of his item build as he can at this point. Golden Glue is actually going to get stunned up right here. Aurelia is able to pick up a kill on that one. Then the Solo King going to transform, Gnars him right into a wall, into a stun right there. Nightblue dropping down really, really low. Thinkcard jumping back in for this one. Stealths up, but is he going to be able to get the reset and jump out? He will get the reset, but he will not be able to jump out alive anyway. Bubble and stun coming out onto IM. Matt Life, Voyboy chugging away, flying in from base right here. Moonway continuing to chase forward onto Zen, the Solo King. He jumps over a stun from Fishing for Earth. The transform back into Mininar, but the bubble coming out. The Voyboy burst comes in. Lucian off to the side does get exhausted. It's a double kill for the boy as he joins back into the fray. It's been a 2-for-3 trade all overall so far. Voyboy's team coming out ahead on that one. Some minions left over. They're going to be able to get this inhibitor tower. They're going on to the inhibitor. Are they going to be able to take it, though? Voyboy using those rockets to pop the Trinity Force. Zen, the Solo King, gets hit up into the air right there, but Janna does have a very nearly full-stacked Rage Bar. The heal coming out from Biofrost. They are going to be able to take the inhibitor here from the side of Voyboy's team. And that's going to be 31-11, and now an inhibitor down. Big advantages to the red team.
Yeah, and despite the excellent engage from Aurelia and Rengar, jumping on to Golden Glue when he didn't have that Zanya's available, or, you know, not fully built, it was an excellent counter engage coming out from Zen the Solo King. It's always hard to engage on a Gnar when he's got that Fury up, and of course, despite the fact that they took out Golden Glue, who does do the majority of the team's damage in these AoE kind of team fights, every single player on that team is so far ahead at this point that each and every one of them does enough damage to clear out the rest of the team despite the single loss that they suffered early.
Well, Voyboy's team, they've got a lot of stuff on their side. 54.5k gold being the biggest one. 7 towers and an inhibitor down in their favor, also being a pretty big point, and 31 kills picked up for them. Thinkcard has a ward over the wall. Is going to see that Fishing for Earth and Matt Life trying to get this blue buff. Nightblue off to the side as well. A stun comes through, but it does look like that Thinkcard and Golden Glue are able to steal away the enemy blue buff, so not even giving the enemy their own buffs. The support coming out from Biofrost, trading with the Pecake, the same level as the enemy AD carry. The Shockwave came down, it missed, but it didn't matter because Voyboy was able to jump in and pick up some damage on there. Picks up a kill onto Pecake. He's the 32nd kill of the game now for Voyboy's squadron. There's just not much else to say in this game right now. It's really up to Voyboy's team to end the game or throw it trying to.
Yeah, and at this point, it's just a matter of time before Voyboy's team can take down this turret. If they're nice and patient, they will be able to take it out with much fight. But if they do try to go aggressive and force a fight, it could go in the favor of Nightblue's team. Voyboy appearing to be pretty level-headed. They didn't try to force anything under the turret, and now they're just waiting for these waves, knowing that they have the full advantage here.
Well, looks like Voyboy's team in the top lane. Moonway taking down extremely low from Zen the Solo King. They're just trying to push down all their advantages at the same time. Nightblue now trying to go in as well. Zen the Solo King taking up some tower lasers, but he's still going to be able to get out of that one. Mid lane inhibitor tower is now down. The bottom inhibitor is still down as well. Rengar looks like he wanted to... Did he wind up using his ultimate right there? Yes, he did, but he wasn't really able to jump down and get anything now. Mid lane inhibitor taking a lot of damage here, and that one's going to go down to Golden Glue. Syndra does get a stun down onto Void, but they have to fall back because super minions are wailing away on the bottom Nexus tower. There's 2 lanes down now for the blue team, and Voyboy's team just going to set up camp in the enemy base right now, waiting for super minions. Voyboy flashes in! The shockwave goes off onto Voyboy's Corki. He pays the price for it, but man, did that look cool right there. Voyboy's team taking a lot of poke damage from the remaining members of Nightblue's team. Pecake taking the command attack and a command dissonance, going to be burst down to half HP, but Moonway going to be burst down to 0 right there as Zen the Solo King picks up yet another kill. The 6th one for him. No deaths on that Gnar. Voyboy's team just toying with them right now.
Yeah, and this is a really tough point because you're at the point where Thinkcard's Q is going to do so much damage that he can execute anyone who's caught out alone, but if you group, that happens and the Gnar comes out huge.
The Gnar's ultimate against the own Nexus right there, working against the own team here. Double kill picked up there for Golden Glue. Another kill has been added on, it looked like, for Thinkcard in that exchange. The jump and flash out, the disrespect coming through. They're just waiting for more minions before they take down this last Nexus tower. Death timer is still about 20 seconds away. Moonway is the only one that's going to be respawned by the time these super minions hit this tower. Wards in the enemy summoner platform. And it looks like Voyboy's team, they're in position to take this game. I don't know if Nightblue's team is going to be able to defend against this one, but there's still a potential chance that 2 or 3 members strong for Nightblue's team can stop them. Never mind. Too many minions in the base right here. A shockwave and a flash from Golden Glue just for style points. Voyboy's team picks up the 2nd win of the night in the 2nd game out of 3 here at the OMEN Encounter.
Yeah, Voyboy's team looking to go, trying to go 3-0 tonight. 2-0 already, well on their way. Absolutely excellent play coming out from the team. Superior vision control, utilizing their gold advantages properly, forcing fights when they wanted to, and punishing Nightblue for those poor engages. solid teamwork overall, and it looks like it doesn't matter who Voyboy brings to the table. It's either superior shot calling or superior team coordination is winning them the day.
Well, guys, we are going to be moving on to game number 3 of the Omen Encounter this evening. It's going to be Voyboy's team staying on the Rift. They're getting all 3 games done in one fell swoop this evening. Trick2G's squadron, and well, Trick2G's army, I guess, is the more appropriate terminology.